After writing 2 transformational books myself and supporting many other beings to do the same, I've become enthralled by the deep and mysterious magic that's activated when we choose to say yes to ourselves and commit to the book writing journey. Of course, we want to inspire change and new perspectives in our readers, but the transformation that happens as an author, both throughout the writing process and by actually releasing your book into the world, is surprisingly potent. I know I've been blindsided in the most disruptive and delicious ways by some of the changes my books have brought into my life. Writing a book is like casting a spell. Although we can never be completely sure what's going to be unleashed during the process, we choose to do it anyway. This Unbound one is a heroic journey. Each book has the potential to be a magical portal, a doorway to a new world, both for you and your reader. Each book has a very specific medicine that it's here to share with us. And each book gives us the opportunity to alchemize the magnificent imperfection of our experience into gold. The truth is that anyone can write a book. We could all get a few thousand words down and put them together. But what fascinates me is what happens when we allow the book writing process to go deeper. When we say, fuck it, get naked and dive way down beneath the surface. Letting go of the shoulds and any need to be acceptable, sensible, or approved of. What fascinates me is what happens when we make ourselves fully available to being transformed by the very act of writing a book. This is Unbound Writing, and this is the process we'll be exploring together here in the Unbound Writers Club. I'm Nicola, author and founder of the Unbound Press, and I help magical beings to write the transformational book they're really here to write at this time. I'm your guide here in the Unbound Writers Club, and the aim of this podcast is to help you to feel supported, encouraged, activated as you embark on your book writing journey. Whether you're a first-time author or have many books out in the world, my hope is that you will find something here to inspire you. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to the Unbound Writers Club. I'm feeling all kind of busy and bubbly today because I have a very special guest. Today I am in conversation with Carolyn Creel, author of The C.L.E.A.R Method, the easy way to declutter the chaos and find your sparkle. Now, the title of that book, because it's all about kind of clearing away the clutter so that you can kind of come back to yourself. And Carolyn's background is in cleaning. She built this amazing contract cleaning business, but also in the background, which has come more to the forefront, she is an incredibly intuitive being, and she is actually known as the clairvoyant energy clearer. And like I said, the title of that book is like deceptively simple. And the process that she takes us through in the book is like quite simple. You follow the steps, but the impact of it, the outcome of it is incredibly potent. In this conversation, I talk a little bit about my experience of reading the manuscript. And before I even got to read the manuscript, the book was working its magic on me. And a number of other people in the team at the Unbound Press have had a similar experience. Like all of our lives are being decluttered and cleared through coming into contact with Carolyn's book and her work. She is the most incredible, inspirational woman, like really down to earth, matter of fact, and deeply, deeply magical. I just adore her, and I'm really excited to introduce you. So let's do that now. So, Carolyn, welcome to the Unbound Writers Club.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
Me too. Really excited for our conversation. But I always begin with the same question, which is, what does it mean to you to be an unbound writer?
It's the expression of your soul. It's not restricted. They are my words. They're not trying to fit it in a box that somebody else has prescribed. So it's the freedom to do it for me. And also the thing of, because somebody said, "Oh, you're writing a book." Oh, yeah. Is it about you? No, because I'm not that interesting. None of us are. We possibly think we are, or we don't. But it's the freedom of expression, so it gives a little bit of background, but it gets the message across in a free-flowing way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you would say it's not about you, but there is a lot of you in the C.L.E.A.R
Yeah,
method. Like, it's this method that's come through you, and it's very much,
yeah.
well, it's so connected with your story. So it would be great to hear, for those who don't know you, Carolyn, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to kind of bring through the C.L.E.A.R method.
I was intuitive from being a child, saw scary things, lived in front. There was a cemetery behind us when we were kids, and my sister used to make me look at the cemetery on a night when it was lit up. It
Oh,
used to scare me to death. So I kind of blocked everything out and got on with life, basically. Was always aware of things, but thought that everybody else was. So didn't think it was anything different. And then got on with life, worked for my dad in the butchers in North Yorkshire for about 10 years, then went and worked in contract cleaning for about 10 years, I think. And then my boss and I decided, we worked for a corporate company, and we decided we could do it ourselves. So that's what we did. Baptism of fire, started with nothing, cleaned, sold, did everything within the daytime. We would clean in the morning and then get changed in a car park and then go off and sell during the day and what have you. So it was interesting, shall we say. Very groundbreaking for us, or character building, I think is what we said.
yeah.
And we took 21 years this time, and we built it from nothing up to the turnovers just short of 4 million.
Amazing.
Throughout this time, life happened. I was married, I had a daughter, still got a daughter, obviously, and the kids were growing up and what have you. But what happened was my intuition came more to the fore. So we would take things, we would go from gut feeling. So we would look at contracts and go, do we want that? No, we don't. Or yes, we do. And one of the biggest things that I learned was, if you didn't put any attachment to things. So we are at first, we're very keen, we would take anything. And then as time went on, we went, nah, I don't want that. It doesn't work. It's, I would meet people and go, I don't actually want to work with them because their ethos isn't where we are. And we grew it basically like that. We used goal setting and things like that to aim for where we were, where we wanted to be.
Dog getting in on the accent.
Yeah, very good, boys. But what we did was, we realised that if we set goals and manifested it, what we did was we goal set at the beginning of every financial year and then forgot about it. And probably 8 months in, we'd sort of do a bit of an assessment and go, "Oh God, we're actually there." And because we just put it out there and then got our heads down and got on with it. Sorry about this.
Oh, it's all right. It's Unbound, and it's all about
Yeah, so the dogs are thinking that as well.
yeah.
So so it grew, and my intuition came more to the fore. I'm a big believer that when you're meant to work with spirit, then I ignored it. I was just like, I'm not interested. I've got real life to get on with. And I'm very practical. So people are like, "What? You do this?" I'm very down to earth and grounded. So what happens with spirit is, if it ignores you, if you ignore it, it throws pebbles at the window. And if you're ignoring it, it'll throw a rock until you actually go, okay, I will. So I started doing readings and things like that. I wrote a book on how to be your own medium, because I do believe that this isn't a gift. We all have the ability. It's a bit like being a runner. We all have the ability, well, most of us, whether we get, not me, it's not my, but you have to train, don't you? You have to learn your craft. So I wrote a book about that about 10 years ago, and then kind of ended up staying back in the cleaning as opposed to that, because we were still building. Then I think probably during the pandemic, I was like, well, if I don't do it now, then when am I going to do it? And all of a sudden, it was the correlation between the cleaning, the clearing, and the actual energy work. Yeah. And I realised that there was a direct correlation between it, because cleaning ain't glamorous. There's no fun in cleaning, but the feeling afterwards and the clearing of your spaces and your energy stops you having the blocks that you have. Because people often say to me, well, I don't know, I don't have any intuition. I'm like, well, you do, but you're that blocked with the different layers throughout life. So if you clear and the times I've done readings where people have gone, well, I don't know, I've never given a reading to anybody and I've always said to them, you already know this at some level, but you choose not to recognise it, or you're blocked, or whatever it is. And the clear method came from that, really. It's just like, it's clearing your energy, spirit, clearing your practical spaces, your physical spaces, as well as your energy.
Yeah, so powerful. I mean, I think it was over Christmas or around Christmas when I was reading the manuscript, and I hadn't even started reading it. And, you know, I'm not one for like cleaning and decluttering. Like, my husband's kind of better with all that stuff. But I just found myself like wanting to clear out before I even kind of started reading the manuscript. I was like taking clothes to the charity shop and putting stuff on Vinted, and it was like, what? Who even am I? What is happening? So it's a powerful book. I mean, I love how you talk there, Carolyn, about like you put your intuition to one side. It was like, no, it felt scary.
Yes.
And then it started to kind of come back through quite naturally when you had your own business. So how you talked there about kind of making decisions in your business, like from your intuition, like how did you learn to trust that again? Because I feel it's important, like in the writing process as well, for people listening, like the Unbound approach is very much like trusting what wants to come, but it's not at all easy to do that often. So what was that process like for you?
It's that inner knowing. It's the inner knowing. You go against it, and then you go against what you know inside, deep inside, and you go, it goes wrong. Whereas if I go from my gut, it always turned out right. It's that question in yourself. So is it me, or is it, fear? Is it what is it that's getting in the way? And I take that time to go, is this mine, or is this somebody else's issue? Is it being prompted from somewhere else? And every time I've gone from a gut, and the gut things for me are always the quick ones. So my biggest thing is first thought, best thought. So you got you first, and what happens with me is there's a lift in your stomach. You know that feeling. Sometimes by the time it gets to your throat, to your voice, you've talked yourself out of it. But go from your gut always, because it will never steer you wrong. Because we're all energy, aren't we? So it's the energy around us that we can feel and see. But often, certainly when you're younger, I think as you get older, you become more discerning, and you make your decisions slower as opposed to anything, rash. But what I do is first thought, best thought, and then I'll sleep on it. And if it's still the same the next day, I'm like, absolutely. I mean, there's been times where I've just gone instantly, no. Instantly, and it's every bit of me has gone completely against it, and it doesn't matter how I've tried to be talked around or whatever. It just doesn't work. So it's trusting in yourself, but it's learning that how to recognize that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think like you have to go through the process of like going against your gut quite
Yeah,
a few times to realize actually this is what happens when I don't
yeah,
listen to myself. All
yeah.
sorts of mayhem. Yeah,
We've all done that thing, haven't we? I knew that had happened. I
yeah,
knew that I did it anyway. And the calmer you are, the easier it is to actually recognise the real thing, the right thing to do. It's when you're blocked, you can't, because there's everything coming in and every other outside noise.
exactly. So just tell us about the different stages of the clear method, Carolyn. So it kind of works on different levels. Like the dogs want to
It
tell us as well.
So the clear method is C for clear, cleanse, and clarity. So
Hmm.
you can actually see where, clearing your spaces, clearing your energy, clearing whatever it is that's making you uncomfortable. Then once you've recognised that, the L is for letting go. That's a
Hmm.
big one.
Yeah.
We recognise it, but letting go is a very difficult thing. We often, as humans, like to stay uncomfortable for some reason
Hmm.
because um, they might not like it, but we're used to it. So the unknown. So letting go is a massive, massive thing. Then it's E is for energize, embody, and empower. So what is it that makes you joyful? Recognizing what you do that energizes you, that lifts your vibration, that gets you to where you want to be, whether that's physically clearing your energy,
Hmm.
and all those sort of things. Then A is for action, assessment, and align. So I'm a big believer in. I'm a big believer in vision boards and manifesting, but you actually have to do something.
Yeah.
You can't write it down and then go, yeah, well, and just sit in exactly the same position. You've got to help yourself. You've got to take one step, but it's doing that assessment. And throughout the book, there's assessments to go, where are you? What are you doing? How are you feeling? And then the last one is R, which is receive. Oh my goodness, is that a big one? Receiving is so huge because certainly as women and men as well, but predominantly women, we are the ones who give. We are the ones that do. We're the ones that give the whole time and check on other people and do to receive is very difficult. Even now, I'm still working on it. I'm a work in progress.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, and it's getting the whole method is to get you to a clear point where you can recognise what brings you joy, what you need to work on, what you need to get rid of, what you need to invite in,
Perfect.
and
Perfect.
live a fab life.
Yeah, exactly. That receiving piece, I really resonate with that. Like,
Yes.
I even though, like, I think a lot of us have done a lot of work, but
Yeah.
still, like with the receiving, I find myself like someone will say something like a compliment, and I'm like pushing it straight back.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's that thing, isn't it? Oh, I'll do that for you. No, no, it's fine. I
Yeah,
can do it.
yeah,
We expect to do it for somebody else or do it without even thinking about it. But
yeah,
actually, in reverse, it is very difficult. But if you've cleared it, because there's the unworthiness once you've gone through the clearing method, which is a roller coaster.
yeah.
It really is. I've just had one lady. She's due a third session, and her first session was really eye opening for her. Her second one, when she came on line to talk to me, she just said, "I don't know whether to kiss you or smack you." She said, and I just like she said, "Is this normal? I've got a rage." And I said, "Yeah, because we've suppressed it for so many years that we just, it's like your thing with the good girl thing. We have
Yeah.
to be, we can't, yeah, we have to dampen it down." So, and she's due a session this week, and she emailed me yesterday and went, I'm feeling it. I've let stuff go, and my life has lifted. Everything just seems easier and clearer, which
Amazing.
is just fabulous.
But you have to go through it, don't you?
Oh yes, yeah, no, don't you? But because of how I've done it, it took me years to get to it, or even to recognise it.
Yeah.
It's pretty concise, and it's a quick way of doing it, shall we say?
Exactly. And this is what I love about you and the book is, I mean, first of all, like, how perfect is it that you have like brought all of your experience from your life and blended it all together into this amazing like method that other people can use? And also what I love is like the way you write, like your voice comes through like it's you and you're not trying to be anything out, like, because a lot of like spiritual books are very, you know, like esoteric, like woo woo, and you know, this is woo, but you're very straightforward, just like this is how it is. There you go and
Or
do
as
it.
somebody described me, one woo, not two.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got one foot, in woo, and the other foot completely firmly on the ground.
yeah.
So yeah,
What's it like for you to be part of like this world that can be like very kind of out there? What's it
it
like for you?
it is. I love it. I
Mm.
absolutely love it. I love people's enthusiasm, but I also find it strange sometimes. I have to check myself and go, that's fine, that's theirs and their journey, when naked running round a thing is not for me.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, 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 I'm 57 for God's sake. There's no way I'm getting my clothes off for anything. Uh, but I recognise that I'm a big believer in you do what works for you.
Mm.
But I find the whole thing fascinating. I find it I'm very empowering because it's women expressing themselves in their own way, and a lot of it's a journey. I mean, we've all been through the angel phase and all the different things, and it just embodies everything. And I think that women being more powerful and coming to the fore is it's beautiful to see. It's a
Yeah.
lovely thing to behold because we're of the I certainly am of the generation where we were, like you said in your book, the good girls, and we did but now we're standing within our own power and being unapologetic, and I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And actually thinking about that, like maybe certainly, you know, those of us who've been brought up as girls and of this kind of age, there was an expectation in the past that it was like the women, the girls who would be doing the cleaning and doing the housework and all of that stuff. And this is kind of turning it on its head because it's, you know, like harnessing the power of that to actually come back to who we are and remember who we are.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, I was brought up, my dad didn't send me and my sister to private school
Mm.
because we weren't boys. If we'd have been boys, no disrespect to my dad, that was his generation, but
Yeah.
he expected us to get married and be kept by our husbands. No, certainly didn't work. But I think we are independent, and I think we are growing. We've grown so much more, so much in the last 20, 30 years. The things that expectations for women back then are completely different to what they are now, and it's just brilliant. It's
Yeah.
wonderful to see.
It is, it is. And you are such an inspiration. Like, I
Thank you.
love your story and just being when we first met at the Awakening Festival
Yeah,
last year, I was like, oh my goodness, this woman is incredible. I want more Carolyn in my life.
lovely thing to say.
Oh, so who would you say the book is for? Like, you know, as we come towards the end of the conversation, what's your hope for the book and who do you feel would really benefit from reading it?
I I feel that it's middle-aged women, so shall we say from 35 plus, whose children are growing up, or there's life changes, grief, parents looking after parents, that sort of thing, that are lost in the messiness of
Yeah.
life and doing the obligate what they feel obligated to do. But it's from that age group right up until 70, 80, whatever it is. And it's finding out who they are and what they actually want. One of the biggest things a friend of mine said, somebody had said to her, well, what do you want? And she said, and she was 42. And she went, nobody's ever in my life asked me that. And that's what it is, isn't it? It's the, what about me? It's the ones when your kids have blown the nest, or you end up, you're getting divorced, breakups, anything like that. It's the life-changing things, but also just life sometimes. But I think it's definitely an age thing, because we've accumulated all this clutter that protects us, we think. And it doesn't. It just stops us living our best lives.
Completely really resonate with that. Is when I got to my kind of late 30s and I was in like a career which on the outside, looked like, I'd done really well, but it's like, actually, I don't want this. And I didn't know what I did want. So I had to go through this whole process, of clearing to kind of discover, which took time. But I feel like your book is going to help so many people to move through that process.
I'm hoping that it's made it very simple for people to actually pick up, do a little bit, and then put it back down and get on with, and get on with life. It's not intrusive, so you can open it at any chapter, do a bit of that, and then move on, and then come back to it if necessary. Exactly. But I just want women to be living the best life that they possibly can for them.
Yes, me too. I love it. I'm so grateful to you, Carolyn, for bringing this method through, bringing this book through, and what's going to unfold for everyone as they get to connect with it. For those who are listening who want to find out more about you and your work, what's the best way for them to do that, Carolyn?
I'm on Instagram at Carolyn Spiritual, and Facebook as well, and on my website is CarolynCreel.com.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's all in the show notes.
Yeah.
As well. Amazing. Thank you, Carolyn. It's been such a joy.
It is. Lovely to speak to you.
Thank you.